episode of our talk concert, Youth Branding Talk Concert. And as I shared with you guys, this round we have from Canada. This is our dearest friend from Canada, and we're gonna let you know. So, before anything, just besides me and Mercy, can we have everybody stay their microphones muted? And then if you have any questions, type it on the text, and then we'll answer your questions on the text. Very nice to meet all of you. I'm the host, as usual. I'm Winnie, and today we have a very special guest. She's in a very pretty dress in pink from Canada. And can we give a round of applause and clap for Mercy 91? She's coming up. All right, Mercy, I see you. Like, stand. All right. Okay. Mercy, maybe before anything, can we just have you introduce yourself a little bit? You can literally talk about anything from your name to your favorite color and why your name is a card. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hi. Hello. Can everybody hear me okay? That's the first thing.
Yes,
my name is Mercedes. I'm from a small town called Windsor in Canada. My favorite color is pink. As you can probably tell, I've made my character have a pink dress. I miss Korea very much, and I'm excited to talk about all sorts of fun things with you guys today.
All right. Yeah, that was Mercy, and she's well, you can expect her to give a lot of very interesting talks of what's going to happen today. But before that, I just want to say, if you guys have any questions, again, we have more people coming in. All right, if you guys have any questions, type it into the text. Just want to check, Mercy, can you see the text box that's flowing?
Yep.
People saying hi. Okay. All right. If they have any questions and you want to answer in the middle, you can always just come in. All right. Before anything, maybe you also want to introduce yourself about what's Windsor like? What's the Windsor that you see when you've grown up? Because all we know about Canada is probably about a maple leaf, is it? Or maple syrup. Yeah, when you weren't here yesterday, I actually asked, and everybody said maple syrup, and I told them about how you said you could eat maple syrup with ramen. You want to share a little bit more about Canada and maple syrup?
As a Canadian, we'll find any excuse to use maple syrup, like with anything, whether it be bacon, whether it be pasta, like everything. We literally have maple festivals here, and we'll have these things called tree knockers. So it's like special people that have a tool that you stick into a tree, and it has to be a certain kind of maple tree, and then all the syrup will fall out of it into a bucket. Then they have to boil it, and that's what we know as maple syrup. During this festival, it's usually in the winter time, so they'll literally just pour syrup on the snow, and you'll get maple popsicles.
Oh my God, did you say maple popsicles?
Yeah. Maple popsicles in the snow.
Oh my God, I already want to try that. It's like, honestly though, I have heard about pickled popsicles too. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah, we have pickled popsicles, we have ketchup popsicles. I don't know if you guys have ketchup in Korea. I feel like I don't remember if you have ketchup.
Yeah, we do, but I don't think we have ketchup popsicles.
Yeah, Canada has some interesting flavors right now. I don't know why, but ketchup, barbecue, pickles, yeah, those are all a thing here. Yeah, pickled. What did I see the other day? It was like not a pickled popsicle. It was like a pickled flavored chocolate bar or something. And I was like, no, don't mix my two favorite things. Like, no.
Yeah, they're good when they're apart. But I remember Mercy, okay, by the way, everyone, she really likes pickles. I was just wondering if this is a Canadian thing? This is why you guys have pickled popsicles? Is that what's going on?
I have no idea. I think that's more of just a me. I enjoy pickles. It's so funny that you remember that. But yeah, a lot of Canadians and a lot of my friends enjoy pickles, some more than others. I happen to really like the sweet pickles, whereas I have a friend who really likes dill pickles, and they'll eat a whole jar to themselves. So we have a lot of, I don't know if you guys have different kinds of pickles in Korea, but we have probably about 20 different flavors of pickle here. It's interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've got a response saying that he hates cucumbers. And I just responded our PD does too. I don't know about that in Korea. But yeah, maybe you want to hear a little bit more about Windsor actually, because for some of us, actually, just want to introduce you to our audience here. There's actually some of the audience who always come to our show, and if you see the little bear head, Ubin's Lee, she's always been with us since the beginning. She stayed apparently or maybe it's he stayed in Singapore for a while. And then he has really good questions too, so definitely look forward to that. And maybe we can just go around to welcome everyone on behalf of Mercy, because I see that everyone else is in Korean. Yeah. Mercy, you want to try?
안녕하세요. 저는 Mercy예요.
Yeah, there we go. She really loves Korea. But today we want to find out more about Windsor too. Not just about Canada and pickles and pickled chocolate. Yeah. Yeah. Windsor. What kind of place is Windsor? Not the UK one, by the way, everyone. It's the one in Ontario.
Yes, there's lots of different ones. Actually, a fun fact, so I don't know if you guys know this, but in Korea there's 52 million people, and then in Canada there's 38 million people.
Oh, really?
But just in the small province of Ontario, it is 10 times bigger than South Korea is altogether. And that is just one part of Canada.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah. So, just so you know, fun facts.
Yeah, it would be good to tour in Canada because there's so many things to see.
There's lots to see here. But in my city, we have this thing, it's called, anybody that lives here knows about the big three. That's what we call them. So anyone that works here, it's more of an industrial city. So you'll either work at the casino, or you'll work at the car factories that we have, or you'll work at JP Weiser, or, well, in my city only, we call it Higham Walker. And if you're outside of our city, throughout Canada, throughout the world, it's known as JP Weiser, and it's a whiskey distillery that is the largest in all of North America, which I happen to work at currently. So that's kind of cool. I'm part of history.
It's not advertising, by the way.
No, it's not. It's not at all. I just happen to work there, and I'm excited because it's part of history. Anyway, Other things about growing up. We have a beautiful waterfront. Not the same as in Seoul, but it's my little home. I like it. I go for runs. It's only 5 kilometers. But I enjoy it. It's very quiet here. It has both city and country life. So you could go from one side of my city to the other in like an hour. Mm-hmm. So my city is pretty small. Mm-hmm. But 3-hour drive from me, or a 3-hour train ride from me, is a big city called Toronto, which is the biggest, most popular, I guess. No, I wouldn't say the biggest, but definitely popular for everyone that knows about Canada. They think of Toronto or they think of Vancouver. And there's lots to do there. There's like our CN Towers there, or you can see Niagara Falls, which is beautiful. I think it's called Niagara in Popo or something. I don't know how to say waterfall.
Popo. Okay, we got you.
Yeah. But it's beautiful, and we have 3 different ways of viewing the falls. And if you go during a certain time of year, they actually put special lights all around the waterfall. Mm-hmm. And it used to be, it's how all of Canada used to power their houses. It's how we used to get electricity, is powered by the waterfall. And there's tours where you can go on this boat and get really close and soaking wet. Or you can go behind the falls on a tour behind. It's kind of really cool. What's another big thing we have here? Oh, we have a famous food. We have 2 of them. Yeah. They're called beaver tails. It's
Oh,
not an actual beaver tail, so don't think we're chopping
no.
up a beaver and eating their tail. It's actually a dessert, and it's hard to think. I'm trying to think if there's anything in Korea like this, but just think of a very thin pancake that's been baked and bubbled a little bit, dipped in brown sugar and cinnamon, and it's bigger than your face, and we call it a beaver tail, and it's a dessert you can find almost anywhere. Someone has their hand up. Hi. I don't know what that is. Hi.
Maybe, yeah, if you have any questions, put it down. You can ask in Korean too. By the way, we are an international talk concert. Ask in your language. You know what? The translator is always going to do the job. Anyway, we were on beaver's tail, which is honestly a culture shock. But you know what? I actually pulled up a little bit of fun facts of Canada, things you never know about Canada. And they talk about beaver war. Do you know anything about that, Mercy?
A beaver war?
Yeah. Beavers fighting?
Oh yeah, like beavers are aggressive. If you get near they're called dams, their houses, so they'll build dams. That's where they live in. They live in these big dams made out of wood, things that they find around. But sometimes they'll build their dams in places that will block water from getting to certain cities, like especially out in like Manitoba or out near the Rocky Mountains. If a beaver builds their dam in a certain area, it will block off the water supply for like the whole town, which is obviously not good. So it will make everybody just angry because they don't have water. But the beavers, if you go near their house, which is why it's so hard, we have to hire specialists like from a nature reserve to relocate the beavers so that way we can take down the dam that they've built. Because if you don't take it down, if you try to take down their home with them there, they will attack and bite. And I don't know if you've seen pictures, but they have two really big front teeth, and their tail is actually it's painful to whip at you. But they're the most common known thing for Canada is beavers and moose, a big moose. They're pretty cool and intimidating in person.
Yeah, definitely. We hear a lot of things about description of food and nature and animals from Mercy. Maybe that's what she likes. Yeah, you guys can take note of it. By the way, on this place on Iprän드, there's a gift-giving system. Anytime you are liking this content, just feel free to follow our host. And we have a lot of similar content, and we're traveling around the world to talk about it. And isn't it interesting to learn all about not just Canada, but the true Canada, about beaver's tails? Somebody said it was delicious. I have no idea why it's saying delicious at this moment in time. But I definitely would love to try that. You think you can ship them to Korea? Beaver's tail?
Maybe. I'll at least be able to send you a recipe of how to make a beaver's tail. It's pretty simple, but it's not an actual beaver's tail, just so you know.
Yeah,
Canada's really big on like protecting their national animals, so there's a lot of protection rights. There's a lot of differences between Canada and stuff, but I think we'll get into that a bit later, you said.
And we are going to get into that. Thank you for making the transition. Well, she's making the host job very easy. Yeah. We're going to the next question. Yes, next question. Culture differences about Canada and Korea. Culture differences about Canada and Korea.
So just from the little bit that I experienced while I was in Korea, things that are a bit different. In Canada, it's like super polite to make eye contact with everybody. You give them a smile or you say hello or you wave at them, even if you do not know the person. We're very accustomed to helping strangers. We like to spread happiness, most of us. There is the oddball that lives up in a mountain and is called a hermit. But most of us are very friendly and always willing to help, which in Korea I also found you guys are very kind people, but you don't make eye contact, and if you smile, they think you're weird. I had that experience, and I was like, oh, okay, sorry. I'm a very happy, bubbly person, for those of you who have met me. So when I was in Korea, I did certain things that I normally would do in Canada that were just like you don't do in Korea, and my friends would be like, no, we don't do that here. Also, eating at restaurants in Korea is different. You guys have some restaurants where you take off your shoes before you go in and eat, or even just the simple thing of entering a building. When you say 안녕하세요 and 감사합니다, we don't say those things in Canada. Like, we might say hello to the store owner. Sometimes people don't talk at all. So that's something different that we both do. I really wish that we establish having aprons in restaurants. I think Korea is a lot cleaner, besides the pollution in Korea and not in Canada. But aside from that, Korea is cleaner than Canada in certain areas. What else would I think of? It was really hard for me to think of the difference in like the places, because I haven't seen a lot of, Korea yet. I hope to come back and see more of it.
Yeah, and anybody who wants to see Mercy too, be waiting for her, because she's definitely coming back. All right. I don't know if you saw this in the middle, Mercy. When you were talking about eye contact, there's some people keep making
eye contact.
I know, literally. Oh my God, making the eye contact. So cute. Thank you so much for supporting Mercy and making eye contact and making us feel. I mean, I definitely resonate with you. Okay, let me go down the list. The first one you talked about was eye contact. I cannot speak for Korean, so if any of you guys are, want to say something, you can say in Korean like I always say. Maybe we understand you guys a little bit more. But so far, I've heard this golden ratio, by the way, and from a very learned person, someone that we both know and we tune into every Sunday. He told us that the golden ratio of where you make your eye contact when you're talking to someone who's a little bit of higher superiority than you or older than you, you look at the nose, not the eye. So you don't, and then when you look at the eye, it's like offensive. That's what I heard. That's what I learned. And I think it's really cool in some sense too. Yeah, but I definitely do resonate with you.
I definitely think that's a different thing as well. And since you mentioned that, it just kind of, you guys have different ways of speaking. You have formal and informal. English, there's a polite way and then a casual way, I guess, but it just depends on who you are and how you talk to them.
Yeah.
But I actually really like that about Korea. You guys respect your elders so much that you would speak formally to them. In Canada, we won't have like a designated where to look at a person. It's literally just you walk by, you do a little head nudge, like, hey, what's up? Or just like, hi, when walking by, even if you don't know like who they are. Usually if it's like an elderly person, we'll even like offer to help them depending on if they need our help or not. Or if we observe the situation, we'll be more likely to ask them if they need assistance. So we talk to strangers, which is another thing I don't think they do in Korea.
Talking to strangers?
Yeah, talk to strangers. I found a lot of people when I was walking around are less likely to approach you to talk to you. Whereas like, or help you unless you ask for help. Like if you walk up to them and ask them for help, then they will. But if you are just like struggling and they see you struggling, they'll just walk by and they won't do anything. Whereas in Canada, we definitely ask if you need help.
Right, I see. There's definitely something about that. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Mercy, there's like this emoticon that looks like you have a little investigating glass, like microscope thing on your eye. If you click on that one, it looks like you're talking, making hand gestures when you're talking. So if you want to do that.
How do I do that? Do I click my face?
No. There is do you see the tons of emoticons below? And that's for everyone, by the way, if you guys need it. Yeah. On the bottom right, you would see like tons of emoticons. Yeah, there you go. No, what are you doing? Okay. We're introducing you guys to Wenxin.
Oh my goodness. I'm dancing.
We've got a few friends who are not muted currently. So we have you guys muted, please. So we can have a good environment. Maybe I think she got unmuted accidentally. Could you get the help of the host, please? All right. Okay, moving on. We talked about the language. I think one thing I hear a lot from the other Koreans would be like, okay, they really ask this question. Do you address your mom by her name? Do you address your professor just by like, hey, is your professor like Professor Clark? And hey Clark, what's up? Like, do you actually say that?
Actually, it's really common in Canada. So we would actually address anybody by their last name if they wanted, and just be like, hey, what's up, Temple? Or hey, what's up, whomever. We'll talk to them by their last name, but a teacher, we don't call them teacher. We call them by their name. Usually when you first get to your class, whether it's high school, college, or
Okay. Please turn your microphone on. I know there is this like, oh yeah, thank you for that time. Yes. This person, very interesting. Maybe he's trying to show us the true culture of Korea so we can hear the differences.
Maybe. I don't even remember now what I was talking about. That's it sounds like a group of people are listening in.
Are we doing some like field study right now? This is Korea. They are very chattery.
Yeah. What was the question again?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
The PD just told you that they're having all the everything with the system. They're gonna get that done. Alright, moving on to the next question. We're talking about the cultural differences right now. For those who just came in, by the way, gotta welcome you guys. Welcoming Lucia, that's an English name. Welcoming Kanji, welcoming Cindy from Hong Kong, I think.
Oh, hello.
Oh, I know how to say hi. Oh my god, welcome. Apparently hi in Cantonese is Leiho. I got that right? Yeah, wow. Mercy, you have a gift for language for sure. Alright. Yeah, we were talking about the differences, if you see on the screen, culture differences between Canada and Korea. Yeah, and we have talked about a few so far. We talked about eye contact. We talked about the greetings that you make when you go into like restaurants. Shoes you have to take off. Number 3, aprons. And most people don't have aprons around.
Teacher. Yeah.
And the language.
That's what we were on. I remember.
Yeah, and we talked about like addressing the names. Like, do you actually say "What's up, Professor" by the name? And yes,
some people do. It all depends on your teacher. So when you first get into a class, your teacher will introduce himself as, "Hi, my name is Mr. blah blah blah," and you can call me Frank, or you can call me Mr. So and so. Like, they'll address if they want to be called Mr. or Mrs. Who, and that's how we address them for the rest of the semester. But usually they'll always tell us their first name, and we will just call them that. And we'll always put Mr. and Mrs. in front of that. Or we'll just say, "Hey, Miss," or "Hey, Sir." Yeah.
Yeah, Mercy, I really want to appreciate and thank you for looking at me when you're saying this, but you want to turn around? You have to, no, you don't have to run everywhere. Yeah, we got a
I
very
don't know how to
high,
move my emoji cursor. Here we go.
got a very, very high, energetic and cute friend we have here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Can you hear me clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Me.
Yeah, there's actually one more that I do want to definitely say. You talked about restaurants. I don't know if you feel this too, but you know, in Korea, a lot of people, they just shout. Like, if they want to order something from the menu, they don't raise their hand. You raise it. Waiter, please come. They don't do that. What they do is they just say, sometimes even they just say it out. Do you do that in Canada? What do you do?
We don't even have a call button. I thought that was the coolest thing. You have a call button in your restaurant, and some people just yell "Tegeo," and like your waiter will come over. No. In Canada, usually your server will just come and check on you, like periodically while you're eating, or they'll have like they'll walk by and we'll just kind of put up our hand or shake our hand and like wave them over and be like, excuse me, and like trying to get their attention to come over to talk to us. We'll never shout. It's like poor manners, I guess. Also, there's a big tipping culture in Canada. So it's like a mandatory. You have to tip your servers and you have to tip your everything. You tip everything in Canada. Yeah.
Tipping.
It's not part of the wage, which kind of sucks. Yeah.
I know. How much do you tip? What's the tip culture actually? Because most of us, we don't know. In Asia, in fact, everything's just included in the tax and everything.
Yeah, so depending on where you are in the world will depend differently because they do in America and they do in Canada. I know in Windsor, my city, it's 10% of your bill goes as a tip. So you have your bill, 10% of your bill is what you tip your server. If you go to Toronto, it's like 20% of your bill goes, like you have to give them an additional whatever 20% of your bill was. Yeah.
10%, 20%. That's very expensive to eat out then. Is that true?
Oh, very. You're spending like more than 50,000 won per meal. Like just for myself, I spent that last weekend in Toronto. It was not fun.
Per meal?
That was just for me, for one meal.
For one meal? That's the 50,000 won.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are you guys all rich? No, right?
No, we're not. We're not. The government here has upped prices of everything, unfortunately. But that's more of a political conversation.
And a whole world.
It's definitely a struggle in Canada when it comes to taxes or tipping or the prices of living versus how much you actually make. So your job is literally, you only make enough to just pay your bills, not enough to actually do anything.
Yeah, I see.
So that's how Canada's workforce is. But on a happier note, happier notes, we are all very friendly and we get by. We're very resourceful people.
I kind of understand a little bit about that now because everybody relates to each other in that sense. Yeah. What, do you guys cook a lot at home?
Oh, yeah. It's actually cheaper to do that, to go out and buy groceries. Like, it is expensive, but it's long term. If you can meal prep and buy your food and put it in your fridge to take for lunch or for dinner, you'll be saving a lot more money for sure.
Right. By the way, Mercy's a really great cook. She's cooked the beef stew before for like a whole pot, and
I'm actually making that this weekend. I'm so excited.
She's always really happy to just be a service to other people. A very, very sweet girl. All right, we're gonna move to the next question. Next question is also very interesting. Pros and cons about the Canadian culture. We gotta have a very honest conversation here. The pros and cons of Canadian culture. So, and by the way, gotta make the disclaimer out there. Everything is all subjective. It's not, Mercy does not represent Canada, okay? It's just her experience. So do not take this and be like, hey, but the Canadians say this. If you guys are gonna do that, come and speak to us again. All right. You're safe now, Mercy. But we could start with the cons so we can end on a good note. What about that?
Okay, well, I kind of already touched on that. Taxes are extremely high, the high cost of living expenses. There's a delay in healthcare. So if you want to go see a specialist here, you have to make an appointment with your family doctor who has to refer you to a specialist, and then you have to wait like months to go see them. Also, if you're waiting at the hospital for an emergency, you're waiting like 8 hours before you see somebody. Whereas in Korea, I know you guys just walk in and you're like, hey, here you go. And then they fix you and you're all set. And I was so jealous of that. We do have free medical care though. So I guess you can't really complain on how much the wait is. We also have really cold winters, which I'm sure everybody knows. Canada gets cold, which is why I was wearing dresses in your winter time. And you guys thought it was very odd. You're like, aren't you cold? I'm like, no, it's like spring. We can get up to, depending on where you are in Canada, we could even get up to -50, so below zero. We'll go like 50 below zero, and it's like really cold. My city only goes to like -30. Pardon?
Are we talking about Fahrenheit or Celsius? Because everybody in Korea counts Celsius, right?
That's a good question.
You want Fahrenheit, aren't you?
It's negative. It's in the negative. It's below zero. I don't know what you guys do for that.
I got you.
I should have looked this up.
Okay.
Those would be the negatives.
-50 Fahrenheit is -45 degrees Celsius, by the way. Oh my God. That is very cold. Do you live there? Like, can you actually live?
-50? No. And that's usually where the polar bears and the penguins and the narwhals are. And that's more up north. They'll even get colder than that. But my friend, she lives in Thompson, Manitoba, which is a time zone over from me. So Canada has 6 different time zones here.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And they have, she said they got up to a -35, 40 where she was, and snow went up to her waist. So they get snow up to their waist there. In my city, the deepest that I've seen it was up to my kneecaps, and that's as an adult. It does get cold here. Like I said, it does get to like -30. I'm trying to think. When I experienced winter in Korea, you guys had a very cold, like frostbite wind, and that's kind of how it is constantly for our winters.
Constantly.
Like during the times that we have snow, if there's snow outside, the wind chill is really bad. There'll be some days where the sun is out and you're like, oh yay, there's not going to be a frostbite wind coming. And those will probably be the days where we take like my niece out and we'll go build a snowman or a snow fort and play in the snow. Make igloos, which are a thing. They are a thing. More so up north, they'll make ones to live in. But here, we just make them for fun. But yeah.
Frostbite wind. So, like, okay, I'm really curious about this, and I think the whole world is. So, do you think, like, because you guys were growing up in Canada, so you are, like, engineered differently when you're responding to, like, cold and heat? Like, are you super sensitive to heat and just resistant to coldness and frostbite winds?
No, actually, I'm pretty lucky. My city, my province of Ontario, we get 4 seasons, and they're very drastic, all 4 seasons. So our weather the past couple years has been a little abnormal. What I mean by that is we had a couple years ago, within 2 weeks, it started off a blizzard, and there was so much snow. The following day, it went up to, it was really hot. Let's just say that. It was really hot. I was going to say the degrees, but then I'm like, I don't know what the conversion is.
No, don't worry about that. I got you there.
Yeah, so it gets, the temperature varies, but we're very adapted to the cold, yes. And I think that goes for anybody that's in a different part of the world. I think our bodies are naturally accustomed to the climate, which is like Korea. I think they're accustomed to the climate there. I think China, the same thing. I think of Mexico, the same thing, and Australia. Like they're resistant to their climate, and it's, I think, built into our DNA, like our genetic makeup, based on where we live. I do think we have the potential to become resistant to a different climate if we move. It's a very interesting thing, the human body. It can withstand a lot more than we think, but people that come from, let's say, Mexico, if they were to come to Canada, they might be really freezing, like really cold, if they're not expecting the coldness. I have met some people that come from up north, like in Newfoundland, and they're walking around in shorts, and I'm wearing a winter coat with snow pants. So it all depends on where your location is. Yeah.
Right. That's really cool. But I feel like if you're a Canadian and you are in frostbite range 24/7, I feel like you can go to any place. Don't you
yeah, we're pretty versatile. Canadians are like chameleons. We can just like go anywhere. Yeah.
That's cool.
We eat icicles off everything and maple syrup, and we'll make bacon on a campfire. We'll go camping in the woods with the bears and fish and all that stuff. We're very outdoorsy people in Canada. I am myself as well.
So would you go on like a backpack trip just all by yourself? Would you do that? I mean, it's good to have company.
Not by myself, because it's dangerous, especially in Canada, to go by yourself because of bears. But we're also trained. That's a cool thing in school.
Sure.
We're trained on how to deal with different kinds of bears, whether it's a black bear, a polar bear,
really?
a grizzly bear. Yeah, we're trained on what to do when approached by a bear. Like any wildlife we have here, we're trained on what to do if we encounter said thing. So when we do go to like the Rocky Mountains or to a forest area, we're entering a different habitat for unknown creatures, whether it be reptiles or bears. Bears is the big one. Bears is the most deadly, in my opinion. A moose, they look friendly, but what I've heard is they're very aggressive. But the one I saw was at the zoo, and he was ginormous. He was like 5 of me standing up. So they're really big, and the storybooks do not do them justice. But they're very strong mooses. But the only ones you really have to worry about are bears, and raccoons and skunks. Skunks are the worst, and they're really common in my city. And we get trained on how to deal with them if we encounter them.
I guess we got a bear here.
Yes, I know. I said that. I saw that. Are you a grizzly bear? Are you a nice bear?
But like, okay, we know like it's not very predictable, but it still happens very commonly, like car accidents, the number of car accidents in a year. But I would imagine in Canada, what's more deadly would be meeting bears. Is that true? What do you think?
No, I think car accidents is actually
Still? Okay.
It's between, honestly, I just looked at this like last week. In Canada, you're either gonna be in a car accident or you're going to do something not so great that I shouldn't say online.
Okay,
but it is like one of the top 2 are car accidents. And unfortunately, like, my nana was in 6. My mom's been in 4. Luckily, they're still around because they're awesome. But it's very common, especially because we have the winter. Ice is everywhere, so the streets become very icy, and we have black ice, which I don't know if you guys have in Korea. If you ever get like really thick, dark ice, so it looks like the road, but it's not. So you end up hydroplating and slipping, and that's how most accidents happen here. During the winter time, or avalanches. Those happen too in different areas.
Yeah, very interesting. I have never imagined bears. I think even one of the guys just said bears are cute. Forever we thought bears were cute unless we live in Canada. Yeah.
You know, I Everland in Korea, and they have some cute bears there. They shook the whole bus. That was,
Oh, they do.
not scary at all.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, so I was probably 15 years old, and I was up north at my cousin's cottage for the summertime, so it was warm during that time.
It's been a while since I heard that word.
What, warm?
No, cottage.
Oh, cottage, yeah. It's like a cabin in the woods. We go camping up there. Anyway, we had a fish fry, so we were frying a bunch of fish on the barbecue, and my uncle had it like attached to the cabin, and we went in for, I don't even know, I think we went out inside, like all of us luckily were inside, and a bear came out from the woods, and we had to call a patrol to come and help us because he was ripping off the barbecue off the side of the cabin.
Wow.
So there is like a special number to call, and they'll safely take the bear out. They won't harm the bear, but they'll make sure it doesn't harm you, basically, so you're safe. And you always carry bear spray when you go out to the woods.
Yeah, bears, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we're talking a little bit too much about bears. It was something very interesting. Sorry, guys. I really couldn't help but ask about that. Yeah. Back to the
questions about Canada or things that you've heard. Please, ask. If you want to know, hey, I heard this about Canada. Is this true? I will do my best to answer.
Yeah, don't be shy, by the way. And always in Korean, no problem. In Cantonese, no problem. In whatever language, no problem at all. Yeah. And by the way, we have 9 minutes left till the end of our session today. But just to give a heads up about the sessions that we have in the future, we're going to talk about very interesting things. And as you guys probably have found out today, Mercy has very interesting stories to share, and she is so bubbly, you will never get tired of her talking. It's like only, 1 minute that's passed by? So yeah, the next ones we have is like K-pop. We're going to talk about music, and you'll be interested to find out Mercy's incidents with music, instances with people who love K-pop, and we're going to talk about that. It's a spoiler, okay? No, don't say anything, Mercy. Okay. We got that. I'm so glad that I'm really close friends with Mercy, so I can say these things without giving spoilers. Yes. Yeah. No, you're so sweet. All right, we're going to talk about K-pop, and then we're going to go on to talk about the different issues around the world. And just so you guys know, you're always welcome to ask any questions on and offline. If you want, you can follow Mercy. She has very high responsive rate on her Excellent account. She'll respond to you. And yeah, definitely also follow our host because we're going to prepare an array of different shows and different concepts. And then you can come back and see Mercy singing. Who knows, right?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, last 7 minutes before we wrap up. So any questions that you want to do? Microphone was off. Whose microphone was off? Your microphone was off? Microphone? Okay. So welcome me any questions, and in the meantime, Mercy and I just want to talk. Okay, any questions you guys have? And she's dancing and doing. Oh no, you shouldn't do that. We're wearing a dress, Mercy.
I don't know what these things do. I'm just pressing random things. I wanted to know what they do.
Every session that we end, we kind of have a dance party after that.
Well, party,
we definitely can welcome.
I eat pancakes every morning. I do not eat pancakes every morning, but they are delicious. That's usually a weekend thing, pancakes or French toast. Pancakes and French toast. I don't know if you guys have French toast. I think you do. French toast is delicious. It's like bread dipped in eggs and cinnamon and nutmeg and maple syrup, but I thought that was a given.
Wow. Right. I think Cindy wants to ask a question by talking.
Okay.
Yeah, I just asked the PD. I think she's okay with that. So I think
okay. Yeah, even during working hours, I really have to talk to you. And then really funny. Thank you so much. Actually,
Oh.
Hong Kong is now 10:45, so during my in the office, I just listen you guys talking, and then I'm really happy to listen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. You liking the content? You liking Mercy?
Yeah, I like it. Really like it. Wow, very funny. Thank you.
She says you're funny. I think you're funny too,
Yes.
Mercy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're very
I know.
sweet.
Hey, I'll teach you how to say thank you in Cantonese because that's the only thing I know. Okay, besides hello. Okay, correct us if we're wrong.
Actually, I'm Korean, and then I just working in Hong Kong only. So.
Oh, okay, fine. She's not Cantonese, but whatever. Okay, we're gonna say that in Cantonese.
Sometimes it's good also can speak Cantonese or Mandarin also, no problem. But today's meetup is in English, so I have to say thank you.
감사합니다.
Oh, what's it? Okay, I heard her saying "多仔," that's thank you in Cantonese.
多谢晒. Yeah, 多谢晒. And Mandarin is the 谢谢你. It's some different. This is also some the culture different.
Yeah. 谢谢. Mercy knows that.
Yeah, there's lots of different things to learn here.
You know what? The first time I saw Mercy and her avatar today, I thought she was wearing a hanbok.
Oh, a hanbok?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and you know, he loves to talk and run around. You know, do anything you want, Mercy. It's almost the end of the session. Nobody cares what you're doing, okay? Just run, just dance in a dress.
I was just getting used to playing with my character. I'm not used to this app.
No worries. Yeah, definitely. I think really nice to have Cindy with us today. She's given such honest response, and you know everybody does think you're funny. By the way, everybody that I've known so far who's talked to Mercy, not a single person has never thought that she was not a comedian.
Oh, jeez. No,
yeah.
I'm not a comedian.
Yeah, she's not a comedian, by the way. She's a very sweet person. By the way, if you guys want to find out like how we met, Mercy actually came to Korea and came to this place that we have busking at Sinchon. That's where our home base is actually, and the entire thing is called City Worship Project. You can still find us out if you go type in Korean or in English, City Worship Project on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and then we're doing busking. And I was actually singing there, so I invited her. She's so sweet. She brought flowers, and then she came, and then she ate pizza, and then she joined our church. She joined my church, and okay, that's it. I know everything just jumped, but if you want to find out more, you can ask her privately. Anyway,
it was amazing. You have a beautiful voice, Oni.
No, thank you. And you know, she's so sweet. She went to Canada, but she still sends us gifts, every single one of us. She typed it nicely. She tries to write in Hangul, and her handwriting is really beautiful, by the way.
Oh. It's terrible, but thank you.
I definitely want to introduce to you guys about Mercy. That she's really good with kids. Very good with kids.
Yes, yeah, I love kids. They're awesome.
Yeah, if you think you're a kid and you want to see how good she is, you can jump right up like this. Jump right up. Yeah, she's good with kids. As you can tell.
We can build blanket forts, we can make painting parties and throw balls of paint at our walls. Arts and crafts, playing games.
Yeah, we're the first talk show that has like the host and the speakers running everywhere as we talk. Sorry guys, get used to us. This is the concept of our show. And maybe next time we can see each other in a different place. You know, by the way, Mercy, you know, there's like a lot of places here that you can go to. This is literally the next level metaverse. So you can really go to what? You want to have a campfire next week? I mean, next session, we could totally do that.
Campfire sounds nice. We can roast marshmallows and make banana boats.
Yeah, except you can't do that here yet because we haven't built that in.
Oh, okay. Oh, do you guys know what a banana boat is? Now that I brought it up.
Okay, I guess that's the last thing for today, banana boats.
Banana boat. Okay, so when you're at a campfire, you grab a banana you cut it down the middle, but don't cut it through the peel, just the top part. Then you put chocolate and marshmallows between the banana pieces. You wrap it up in tinfoil, you put it in the fire for like 5 minutes, and then you take it out, and the banana peel will be hardened like a shape of a boat, and you grab a spoon, and you eat the inside, and it is so good.
Oh my
Bananas,
God.
chocolate, and marshmallows.
Yeah, definitely want a picture of that. You know what, Mercy, if you have any like interesting pictures, I believe all of us want to see any interesting pictures you have taken yourself or you want to show us about Canada, definitely send it to me so I can share it with the PD and then we can share with everyone else in our next session. So, when is our next session?
Our next session, I believe, is Thursday?
Supposedly the same time, but except Mercy is actually going to be on a train, so we're going to look that up and see how that's going to work. But you know what? It would be so cool if you could be doing this on a train and showing us Canada literally.
I could take pictures while I do that.
Yeah,
I just don't know because the Wi-Fi is really spotty on the train. That's the only thing.
Okay, maybe we'll keep that in train.
We're not as high tech as Korea. Our trains don't have like awesome Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah, that's one thing about what we really love about Korea too, as a foreigner. Yeah, okay. Got to do the wrap up. We're 1 minute up, a little bit too much.
Bye, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, okay. One last thing you want to say, Mercy. How was it today for you?
It was an experience. I liked it. This is really cute. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, awesome. And today especially, I also want to invite Cindy, since you're here with us. How was it for you today? You can say in whatever languages you know, like 4 or 5 languages, you know? Cindy, are you there?
Can you see me? Just as I'm in here, I just listen your voice. You guys' voice really beautiful, really. So this is during my working hours. I just talking because everybody understands English. So I prefer Japanese or other languages better. They know it. I just listen to play now then.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much for your feedback. And sorry, I didn't know you were at work. Oh my God, she's tuning into you at work. That's dedication. Okay. All right, so next one we're going to talk about is on K-pop, and then definitely follow the host so that you can find out more about the next episodes we have. I've got to do my ending. Okay, thank you for being the best audience. Stay tuned for the next few episodes as we travel around the globe together with the most special guests from a plethora of countries across the world, and we have Canada to explore the most candid and underrated treasures that you can only find on Youth Branding Talk Concert. Thank you everyone for being the best audience. And that's it for today. Now it's dance time. And please enter and exit freely that you want and talk freely as you want before the lines close. Let's come and dance together. Goodbye. See you next time.